good.
Episode 99 of the TRT show.
Oh yes. How are you, John?
Senan Coakley in the house. This is the second Coakley I've had on. I have to get Lee on to make it the trio.
Yeah, you'll have to get three of us on.
Have to get Senan is a young MMA fighter, came from a Thai background, and local young flip, so I said get him on for the chat.
Nice one, appreciate it.
No
I've watched a few of them.
No
the famous van. I'm finally in the famous
This
van.
is the new one.
The new one,
The red one got fucking given to someone else, so this is the new one. But come here, you were sparring this morning. You're a fight out team Rhino, DCA.
Yeah.
And you're around, you kind of remind me of Max. You're very, very young, but you seem older. You're around so long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean you're fighting so long. You're just around the scene a long time. Yeah. Obviously with your brothers and your older brothers fighting. You're just floating around, training in and out. So what's it like? Obviously your brothers, both of them fought. Lee fought. Craig took a load of fights. Lee took a few fights. You were always going to go that route, or did they inspire you to get into it, or did you always want to do it?
Yeah, so Craig brought me into it. Like I was having a bit of trouble when I was a kid. I was only about 8 or 9, but like you know, I said like kids on the street and all, and I was getting picked on. So Craig one day was just like, "There's a kids class on in the gym if you want to come down with me." And obviously I want to go with my big brother, wherever he wants to go, you know, that type of way. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go down." And like I was doing it like once a week just to do it, like or whatever. But I was never really good. And then I tried to take a fight, my ma wouldn't let me, so then it was like, right, I'm leaving that. And I played loads of sports then coming up, and eventually then hit about 11 and Craig was like, you're fighting, we won't tell your ma. And then he was like, no, I'm only messing, we'll tell your ma. And I was like, great, grand. And then we got our Lorgie to agree, and my ma agreed, and I didn't look back since. Now I played rugby for a few years as well, so I was like fighting, then I played rugby for a few months, and then I'd fight and then play rugby, so it was sort of on and off. But then once I finished in school and rugby was finished, I was like, this is it, this is full time, this is me. So that's... So
did you do your leaving just the summer gone
June,
by?
Yeah,
right,
in June,
right.
yeah. Just
and you were in Belleville?
Yeah, I was.
You were in Belleville,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Do you play junior and senior, or...?
Yeah, I played junior cup rugby for 2 years, and then I played senior cup for 1 year.
Okay.
And like bar MMA, like they were the highest points I've had in sports. I loved it, like the camaraderie of it. That's
like, people don't understand the way rugby is in Ireland. A few people from abroad listen to this, like Belleville and them schools. Like I knew a few lads that played for years ago that played for them. That is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They take that serious. That is like full time training for kids.
It's mental. Like I remember the only like time I realised it was like out of the ordinary was when I started telling people.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, so we go into school on a Monday morning before school and do a review of the match we played Saturday. We go to school, we go training straight after school, then we come back, eat, do our night study in school, leave the school at 9 o'clock. So I'd be gone out of my gaff from Monday to Friday from about 6:30 in the morning till about, I'd say about 9 at night.
Yeah.
And that's the whole day done. And I used to bring all my meals into school, leave them in my locker, heat them up as the day was going on.
Yeah.
It was heavy time, and that's while studying for a leaving cert and a junior cert. So it was mental. It was, but I loved it because there was so many of us doing it that if one of us was like sort of say bollocks on Monday, you'd sort of help him out because you know how he feels. So everyone was sort of helping each other out, and that's why I loved it. And the lads that I played rugby with, like the majority of them would go to me fights as well. That every time I fight, they're like, oh, I'll grab tickets off you whenever, and they'll just come up and collect tickets off me all the time. So like I do appreciate the support from them.
No, and that's like a decent level of Gaelic football in this country or rugby, and it's a very good foundation for any form of fight.
Yeah,
very good, because there's strength and conditioning programs involved. There's like team sports. I'm a huge believer in team sports, and that grind that rugby or Gaelic football or high level soccer go through. You know what I mean? It's no, it's savage. And you enjoyed that experience. So how did you find? Then you jumped into the leaving cert, obviously. Yeah. Was that a hard balancing act between rugby and that?
No, so rugby finished about I think we finished in March, and then obviously I had April, May, June to sort of focus on the leaving cert.
Yeah.
But my head was elsewhere. As soon as rugby finished, you can ask Conor Walsh. I turned around to him the day we got knocked out of the cup. I went up to Conor and goes, "I'm fighting full time now. That's where my head's at." I goes, right, will you get me weight back down? Because I was 94 kilos in March, and I weighed in at 76.5 in August for Firtus.
Yeah.
So I had to lose loads of the weight and all I had on for rugby. So straight away I was just focused on fighting. I went back training. So I was training like twice a day and studying for my leaving cert and going to school to like type of job. It was just like now I wasn't studying much. I was only doing like 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day. But it was just ticking me over, and then I done all right me leaving. And my man was like, "Oh, you gonna go to college?" I got me first choice. And I goes, "Matt, I'm a fighter. I'm sorry." So I just I'm doing a PT course in Elite.
Right.
So that's the college that I will be doing, and hopefully when I'm qualified as a PT, then I can start being in the gym more, taking on PTs and clients and stuff.
Savage. And come here, like, you're young. Like, college is always there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean what you're doing is experience and it's gaining a skill being a PT. I'm not looking down on being a PT, but like the amount of guys I know tons of guys that literally done what you and Max are doing, going, I want to be a fighter, I want to be an athlete. And they went to Belgium cycling, they went abroad playing football, the whole lot. And it didn't work out for them, which, you know, the percentages are, it's not going to work out. And now they're solicitors or accountants or...
Yeah, exactly.
They just went back and mature students.
Exactly.
You know?
It's the handiest thing ever. Like, you can go back to college as a mature student, do your course when you're more mature and you're more focused. Because like, if you were to go to college now, like, you see a lot of like people in college, and yeah, they're getting a degree, but it's very bad for them. They're going out every 2 days, you know, like, and they're going out on the weekends then while they're doing their study. Now, fair play to them, but in the long run, it's not going to benefit their health and their mental health, especially. Like,
I'm 47 years of age and I still don't know what I want to do.
Exactly. Some people don't. Like, who was it? Was it your man that made KFC? I don't think he made KFC until he was 65 or something. And then he became a millionaire. He became a millionaire at like 65, 70. Like.
Yeah, no, it's come here. Just try and pay a few bills. Try and make a little bit of money to keep you ticking over. But all I can say is pursue your passion. Do what makes you happy. Because there's enough cunts out there paying bills, getting involved in the rat race and materialism that hate what they're doing. We don't need more of them people.
No, I couldn't do it.
Enjoy what you're doing.
Even any jobs I've had that I didn't like, I've always just said no, and I've never turned around and not worked, but I've always just looked for a job that I'd rather. And like, I work part time. I work part time as a waiter, and I think I love it. Like, I think it's not like I like serving food and all, and like dealing with people. So like that handy, that just keeps me ticking over. But other than that, I'm just training full time during the week.
And you joined, so you stopped rugby, and you kind of like you really threw yourself into MMA straight away. You took like a lot of fights back to back. So why you went to Team Rhino from DCA? What kind of, when MMA guys are picking teams, they all pick teams for different reasons. Why did you pick Team Rhino? What kind of drew you to go there? Was it word of mouth, someone you knew, or what was it?
So like years and years ago when I was young, my ma was like, do you want to try jiu-jitsu or something? She had a friend in Team Rhino, and she had a friend in Kayusa. Remember Kayusa used to be at our gym? So she had a friend in two of them, and she was like, will I bring you up? And I said yeah. So she was like, which one do you want to go to? And I just goes, what class is on tonight in both of them, and I'll pick. So I went to Kayusa. I didn't like jiu-jitsu at the time. I was young, I wanted to just strike with people, you know, that type of way. So I didn't like it, so I just stopped. And then obviously when I was thinking of MMA teams, I was like, I knew the MMA scene at this point, and I remember always going to like the Bahamas and all, and seeing and a few Cage Warriors cards I'd watch and all, and I'd see like Reds are fighting, and I seen Neil Seardy then, and I was like, oh, they're good lads. I was like, I wonder what gym are these all in? Searched her up, and I was like, Team Rhino it is. And like, I think the fighters show for themselves in that gym. Like, we never once take an easy fight when you're in this, like, in that gym. And like all the lads, James, Adam, Darby, like they take hard fights on Cage Warriors. Constantine as well, his MMA debut, he fought a seal. Look what a seal's done now.
Yeah.
Like Costi dominated a seal that time. Like, and it's great to see.
I listened to a Seals podcast on the Severe MMA, and I remember looking at that fight, and I thought Constantine was the wrestler. I was like, the Seal is going to have a tough fight here, but Constantine beat him at his own game.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the exchanges in that fight, I only looked at that fight a while ago. Like, Constantine's boxing was bleeding savage.
He's good.
It was
I was only sparring Costi this morning, right?
Savage.
Costi's boxing is really good. And people don't
look at that
realise
fight, it was class. He didn't like just, he there was wrestling and exchanges, but like that fight was won on the feet.
Yeah, 100%. But like, you have to like look at this as like as well though, like that was a blessing in disguise for a Seal, I thought, because he obviously had that fight and went, right, I'm not as good as I think I am. Got a lot better and start winning fights. So, you know, hats off to him, fair play to him for going off and winning fights. But I'd love to see Costi back. I'd love to see Costi fighting again. He's training a bit now, so hopefully the lads, hopefully Andy, me and a few lads can convince him to get back in and start fighting a lot again.
And there's a good old hype around Team Rhino at the moment. I was talking to James Sheen on the phone the other day, and he's just, I worked with James in a previous job, and I remember he had his 2 losses. I remember he just listened to blokes that don't know anything, and this string of career enders for some people, injuries, like 3 on the bounce that he had. Most people would have just said sound, rolled up the tent and went back to the 9 to 5. But in fairness to him, like, he deserves all this cool stuff that's happening to him, 100%. Because 90% of people would have said, fucking look at these injuries. Like, the injury he sustained, he and Gary, fair play to him, top class, going to UFC, but that injury that happened to him in that fight straight away, it would have finished most blokes. You know what I mean? So 100%. There's a good buzz around Team Rhino at the moment, with talks of Reds are coming back, James with Cage Warriors coming here. I'm really excited to see that Oban Elliott fight, him and Oban Elliott. That'd be a class fight. I watched Oban Elliott's last fight, so I think James smashes him everywhere. That's just me. I think he's too strong for him. But I like Cage Warriors, you know. I do like their shows. I like their setup.
They always put on the fights the fans want to see.
Yeah.
They're never putting on, like, they don't put on one fighter that a fan wants to see against someone who no one really knows. It's like, we'll get these 2 people, they have a big following, we'll put them together and see what happens. And I love that about Cage Warriors as well. And Bellator can do it sometimes, but sometimes Bellator can get caught up in, they have 1 star, and they'll put him against someone that isn't a star, and it's just sometimes it can be one-sided fights.
What I like about Cage Warriors is and other shows like that, against that show you just mentioned, it's like you will get a couple of fights a year. You're not getting 1 fight a year, maybe 2, and that's what I like. Irish pros are going to be active if they choose to go there, rather than we come to a 3 arena once a year and you might get a fight somewhere else, or we might come twice a year. So I think pros need to pick their fights all right, but they need to be active, you know what I mean? And once, twice a year, you know, not everyone's getting the big dollar to survive on that, you know what I mean? So that's why I like the smaller shows, that they're more active, you know.
And there's no, like, I don't think there's no harm in pros even taking fights on regional scenes, as like on the Irish regional scene. So you know, like IUR, I'll be fighting on that on 26th of February. Like, they have pro fights, and like some other shows around Ireland have like pro fights on. There's no harm getting 1 or 2 fights on that, then going into Cage Warriors when you're on a big stage. Then you know what I mean. You've had that experience at pro. You've had that throwing elbows and stuff, and known, like, knees to the head, and the 5-minute rounds especially. People don't realise, like, when you do 5-minute rounds, they last long. They feel like a half an hour sometimes. Like,
come here. And Decky's doing a great job on IUR. I see King Cowley came out with his Air show there. You fought on that show. That looks good. I like Solomon King is fighting on Premier now, his first pro fight. So all these, and you've Declan Kenna with his Cage Legacy putting on pro fights for Shauna. Like, all these, like, we need all them shows.
Yeah.
And maybe one or two more. But it just would be great if they could talk to each other a bit
And
better.
get times better.
Instead
100%.
of, if you look in December, we 3 promotions on within 3 weeks.
3 days.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, like, what has there been in January? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
nothing really as of yet. You know what I mean? So if they spoke to each other better, it would be better for fighters and better for fans.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at them few shows and saying, if they were spaced out even by 2 weeks, I would have went to them all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
but you're like, you're gauging it going, fucking 50 for this, 50 for that, 50 for the other.
Coming up to Christmas as well.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
people
it's
don't
just,
have it.
if they, but the fighters, at the moment, it's a really exciting time, I think, because we have a few people after jumping into pro who are making a good go of it, like Sean O'Bannon, like Jer Harris, like James. You've all these new pros at the moment, but you have a host now. I'd say you're going to see about another 10 to 15 new pros in the next 6 months to a year coming through. You know, people like Conor McCarthy, other people that are coming on, and it's going to be a new stream, and these fighters all need these. Why do they have to go to England to fight the best over there when we can have a show in this country building them?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because when you're going to England, they're not building you.
Oh no!
Do you know what I mean?
You'll never
you're
go to
getting
England.
brought in.
Yeah, you'll never go to England and get an easy fight. You're always you're getting brought over to law.
Exactly.
Basically.
So we need to build our own fighters to get them to that level and get to them that experience that they can go wherever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's that's why we need all these regional shows. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's great. I love seeing like pro fighters doing well from that are homebred from Ireland. You know that type of way. Like I think once you go pro, like obviously you have your own gym, you have your own training thing, but I think our pros should be fighting like on the regional scene and like building their name up, and even like fighting people from different countries to get flown in. You know that type of way. So that it saves Irish talent sort of fighting each other all at base, and then only a few of them come up.
And I support all the pros from all different teams. You know what I mean? The team thing doesn't bother me as pros once they're Irish. Now I get it that flyweights, or say the girls, have to fight each other because all the flyweights around Europe, they're probably all following each other on Instagram because there's so few of them. You know what I mean?
Literally.
And the girls the same. There's not many of them, so they all have to fight each other. But one thing I don't like to see is Irish pros, lightweights, welterweights, bantamweights all fighting each other because there's enough everywhere. Let's everyone get behind the pros. You know, at amateur, all fight each other.
Fight each other every second week if you want.
As pros, I don't like to see that.
Yeah.
Because I want to shout for the Irish bloke. I want to support the Irish bloke. I don't want to see him fighting another Irish bloke. That's just me.
Yeah,
you know?
and even like amateur fighters as well. You should be able to fight someone at amateur and spar with them the next day. And spar with them in the gym the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There should be no egos there with amateur. Like if you're like having trouble with like other fighters at amateur, I think it's very, very, very like stupid in a way, because it's like yous aren't getting paid to put that show on. Yous aren't getting paid to put this big bravado on. Wherever about pro. If you want to do that at pro and you want to earn your money that way, fair enough, you go do that. But when you're not earning money and you're just trying to start trouble with other people and all, I think it's just stupid, especially at amateur. Like,
no, that's one thing I dislike about, because what it kind of that leads into. Some people do, some people don't. But what it leads into is then blokes won't take certain fights against people because they'll be talking shite or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, it's amateur. Don't be talking shite. Just get in there, do your best to smash him up, and then shake his hand after it.
And if you want to get your name out there at amateur, like, go finish people.
Do it by winning fights.
Yeah, go finish people. Like even winning fights, you can get amateurs out there that'll win 6 fights in a row by decision, and no one's really going to give a fuck. Or you can get amateurs out there that'll go out, stop 3 people in stop say 4 fights in a row, and everyone's going to want to watch them because they're like, this might be a finish, this could be quick here, lads, and you get more publicity that way, and you'll build yourself better. You'll get more followers, you get better followers than just idiots that are like, oh, this fella talks shit, yes, I love watching him. That type of way, like.
And everyone gets found out.
Oh,
Even
yes.
fellas that don't talk shite, you're going to get found out. You get found out in sport. No matter how big, how strong, how good you are, there's always someone out there with a bigger sword.
Or yeah, 100%. There's someone out there with a game
That's
plan.
life. So you know, come here. It works for some people, and some people have made. I'm not into that. It's just the way I am. I like seeing the best lads going in, trying to end each other, and then just no shy talk. The better bloke wins. Fair play to your man. He got in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and I love that about amateur sometimes when, like, a promoter will match amateur, and he's only matching him because that's going to be a great fight, and it's just going to be a good fight that people want to watch. Two really, really good styles. Might be like a really good striker versus a really good wrestler, and it's like suss out who can do better, or two really good grapplers at amateur.
And Decky McAleen does that on Euro.
Yeah,
he'll do that. Whereas I'm finding at the moment, and what I'm hearing is, lots of guys are vacating belts and dodging people because they don't want to fight them at amateur.
Yeah.
And that's wrong. Like,
no,
that's
definitely not.
It's not making the sport any better. And I don't know whether it's the coach's ego, not letting guys fight other guys who think they're the best guys or going for belts, or whether it's fighter ego, or whether it's their Instagram fighters. I don't know what it is, but like, whatever sport you're doing, whether it's rugby, Gaelic football, if you're decent and you rate yourself, you want to fight or compete against the best guys.
100%.
Like rugby, like, do Belvedere want to play against Blackrock? Yes, they do.
100%.
And they want to smash them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whoever wins, it doesn't matter. But they've tested themselves against them.
Exactly.
There's a competitive. What did you say on that with Andy Stevenson? Confident, not cocky.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's like, I want to test my skills against you, and if I lose, I lose, and I'm an amateur. And you know what? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. And like, anytime I've talked to an amateur fighter about fighting them, like, I've never once gone over and go, I think I'd knock you out. I've just gone over and I've said, I think me and you'll be a great fight. What do you reckon? You know, that type of way. Like, and I'd say it like that, because it's like, I think my skills are really good, your skills are really good, and if you put them together, you'd make a fight of the night. Yeah. And that's what you want. You want to just have fight of nights. You want to have exciting fights your whole career. Because you have exciting fights your whole career, you're going to get attention, you're going to get stuff brought to you, and people are going to want to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, that type of way. So.
And that's what's good, I think, about young Irish MMA and amateur at the moment. For years there was like a couple of spots where you had the best guys coming out of, maybe 2 or 3. Now the best guys are spread over from FAI up north. They're spread over down to Cork, about 10 to 15 clubs, which is healthy. That's
very good.
It's healthy, because if there's only 2 places, they have to fight each other. But when they're spread throughout the place, it's better. You know what I mean? It makes for a better culture of sport in general. You know. And
like, you get some gyms in like places that are not like. You look at Dublin. There's probably over 20 MMA gyms in Dublin. Whereas if you go to, say you go Dundalk, there's one MMA gym there. Go to where's Shaolin, Galway. There's one MMA gym there. You know, that type of way. It'd be better to get like more MMA gyms in different areas, and even at that, if one successful fighter comes out of an MMA gym in a sort of rural area, that might attract a few people going, he's doing well, I might go train. And it's just, it's more eyes on the sport, it's more people competing in the sport, which is good, like, for everything then.
And it is good, you know. It's what the sport needs to grow, you know. And I seen you're talking about going to the IMAFs. For the Europeans. Or the Worlds. Just
like whenever the next one is. Like, obviously I couldn't do the one in. There's one in February, isn't there?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Serbia.
Just with college and stuff. Like, I couldn't. Not college. The course I'm doing at the minute. I just didn't, like, I couldn't go over, and so I think I'm gonna do the next one, whichever next one's on,
Europeans,
and obviously try and qualify through the nationals or whatever if they're doing that as well.
And that format, so it's same day weigh-in, so you'd probably go welter, would you?
I fight a welter anyways, but I'll still do welter same day, because I can, like, I can, like, me and Craig have done it a few times now, like, where he's done me, and Jason Kane, obviously my strength and conditioning coach, we've done it a bit now where we've gone like I've cut weight for fights, so I've done sauna, I've done a water load and cut weight, but I've also dieted down to 77 for fights.
Okay.
But I've just been a bit smaller when I diet down, you know that type of way.
Yeah.
Like for Era, obviously same day, I had to just diet. So I just dieted down, had like 0.5 the night before, and I was in the sauna just helping the lads, and I lost it. I wasn't even doing a sauna myself, I was just there like making sure the lads are alright, that war cutting me. And then for cage conflict, then obviously I was a bit bigger at cage conflict, but that's because we done it right, dieted for a bit, then we done the water load for the first time, and I didn't have to do a sauna. I water loaded all the way down the weight, but I could put it back on. So I know, like I know how to adjust my body there as well, and I think that's why I was thinking super lightweight as well. Like I could make that like handy enough. Like if I didn't need to do a sauna for 77, obviously a little sauna, little 2 kilo, and get down to 75 or whatever the weight is. So I think super lightweight would be a good way to fight at as well.
No, it's an exciting time, you know. It is an exciting time, and down here in DCA. So you weren't sparring on Friday night, were you in there now? Because you were sparring today.
I sparred this morning. Sometimes I'll spar Friday nights, but or else I'll train, but I'll just train normally. But you know, sparring Friday night and then Saturday morning, it's bad on the old head. Especially because they're two of the hardest rounds in each gym. So like Friday's obviously sparring day, and then like sparring day in DCA, which is like heavy sparring, and then obviously Saturday morning is heavy sparring in Rhino. And it's just.
And who were you sparring this morning, Rhino?
Adam Darby, James Sheehan, Paddy Moran, and I think that was it. Yeah, just done three kickboxing, 3 MMA, and 3 jiu-jitsu. Nice. The MMA goes on.
Good stuff.
So it was good, yeah.
Good stuff, moving around. And what do you stretch out after that, or how do you do a decent warm up before that, or what do you do?
We normally the warm ups can change depending. Sometimes it would be 5 minutes and it's like shadow boxing, and then you'll start obviously doing like sprawls and stuff, and by the end of that you're sweating, or else it could be just up and down the mat, forward rolls, few different stuff like that, or it could be just start pummeling with a partner, and then it'd be like go into light takedowns, let them have the takedown, then start picking it up. We'll slowly build into it.
And when you're sparring, do you just go in and say, right, I'm just going to fight this bloke? Or do you go in and say, right, I've been working on this part and I'm going to try and implement this part, and even though I'm probably going to get poked around, I'm still going to stick with it? Which way do you spar? So
when if I'm working on something, I'll never just try it against anyone, because you know, working on something, it's gonna work against some people and it won't work against some people. So me and Craig are working on something at the minute. I'm obviously not going to say it, but it, like, say I was going with one of the lads and it just would not work for a certain reason, so I go with the next lad and it works better because he's given me what I need, so I do it then. You know that type of way. It depends on bodies, but even when I'm fighting, like, or sparring, like, Craig will watch maybe 1 or 2 fights. He'll say, "Yeah, you'll be grand. Like, go in here, watch this." But it's never like, say that body shot's always on. It's just like, look for it. If it's on, do it. If it's not on, do something else. So we're always just looking for openings in fights. That's the way I like think the DCA style is. I think we go in and we just look for openings constantly, and we'll find an opening and we'll attack that. And that's it. That's how we get most of our stoppages, to be honest. Like, we just find them openings and take them. But that's the best way of doing it, going in and just suss it out, because everyone has a game plan till they get punched in the face.
And come here, the DCA is where it's at. I remember talking to Collie, so you fought on the Friday night, Max fought on the Saturday night, and what Collie was most happy about is, obviously Tui has finished your opponents, but he was most happy with the toy sweeps.
The toy sweep.
Them toy sweeps. They don't. And Max toy sweep. Literally, he was like, just delighted the 2 boys got 2 points. Obviously finishes for 2 toy sweeps, you know.
No, 100%. Them toy sweeps, like, the reason why I do them, right, I didn't, like, when I started doing wrestling in Team Rhino, the only takedown I knew was a toy sweep. If you think about it, obviously you're doing technique as you go along, but the only one I actually really could do properly was a toy sweep. And obviously the way you're doing that, like, you know, the technique of it. So I was just like going with people and I was going, I'll try toy sweep, and I was landing it on people. So I was like, start doing it in fights. So then when I start doing it in fights, then and it was working. I was like, this is it, like this. And then my wrestling coach, Bill McCann, like when I was doing wrestling classes, sometimes he's like, try this while you're doing it, or try this underhook or this overhook, or try grab this grip and see if it works for you still. And I'm just adding on to it, and then obviously like I've never gone for a double leg in a fight, or never gone for a single or anything, but like I feel like my wrestling is strong as well. I just haven't got the shown it.
Yeah. The doubles are kind of, for MMA, a double is, I don't like them.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of them, because I think when you shoot for a double, just me breaking it down and looking at it, I would just prefer like body locks or tie sweeps or getting in for throws or singles, rather than when you commit to a double, it's a big thing. There's a lot of weapons facing you know?
And there's a lot of momentum. When you commit to a double leg, you could get a perfect double leg, but because your body's going slow momentum, all they might have to do is just flip you, and all of a sudden you're inside, you're like on the bottom in side control, or you're on the bottom somewhere else.
Yeah, no, it's no. Well, Collie was happy with the
good tie sweeps.
Tie sweeps. That's what he was most delighted about, you know.
Yeah,
but come here. I'm going to end it at that. Senan is one of the number of exciting MMA fighters coming out of Ireland at the moment. Give him a follow on Instagram. I'll tag him in this, and follow his journey. And Senan, thanks a million for having a chat with me.
It.
And that is the end of episode 99. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of a good podcast coming up next week. Number 100.
Oh,
with
the
biggest guest so far.
The big one.
The biggest guest so far. Have me mom next week. Have me mom next week. So she's on the number 100. So up the Irish Mass.
The best in the business.
Thanking them for all they've done for us, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
But thank you very much, and like, subscribe and all the usual. Send and press that button, my man.
Perfect.